Look, here's the thing about retirement savings. Most people are thinking in the wrong numbers. You log into your 401k, see a balance, and feel anxious. You think you're behind. You wonder if you'll ever get ahead. Now, imagine a rocket on a launch pad. The first few thousand feet are brutal. Maximum fuel, maximum thrust. The rocket barely clears the tower. Every ounce of energy is fighting gravity. From the ground, it seems hopeless. Progress is agonizingly slow. But then, something magical happens. At a specific altitude, not gradual, calculable, predictable, the gravitational pull weakens. Momentum takes over. The rocket isn't fighting gravity anymore. It's riding physics. And retirement savings work the same way. There are two key thresholds that change everything. The first is where your contributions stop being the main driver of growth. The second is where fear stops controlling your decisions. Most people have no idea where these points are. They've been taught outdated rules. Let me be blunt. If your account balance is still below $250,000, you are the engine. Every dollar you save matters more than anything else. Compounding is helping, but you are doing most of the work. Once you cross that line, the math flips. The market starts working harder for you than you are working for it. And the second checkpoint? Once your balance hits roughly $800,000, the fear of running out of money stops having any mathematical basis. You are free, financially. The problem is, most people grind through these stages without even knowing the rules changed. Be honest. If you've been struggling to see your savings grow, comment me. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to break down these stages in real numbers, with real examples of people just like you. We'll walk through each checkpoint, explain the math in plain English, and show how small changes now can change your life later. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly where you stand, what your next moves should be, and why the industry's old advice may be holding you back. Now let's talk about the early stage. Below $250,000, you are the engine. Your money is just starting to grow, and compounding is still a supporting actor. Every dollar you contribute has an outsized impact. Take Alex, for example. He's 35, lives in Chicago, and makes $60,000 a year. He saves $1,000 a month into his 401k and Roth IRA combined. Aggressive, but doable. Here's the reality. For the first $100,000, almost all growth comes from his contributions. The market helps a little, but 80% of the increase is Alex's own effort. Compound interest is cheering from the sidelines, but he's doing the heavy lifting. The problem? Most people hear the old Munger quote about the first 100,000 being the hardest. They don't realize the economy has changed. In 1994, 100,000 represented a fifth of a retirement target. Today, it's closer to a tenth. Adjusted for today's dollars, that first escape velocity milestone is closer to 250,000. Here's how it plays out. Alex starts at zero. With his monthly contribution and an average 7% annual return, it takes about 7 years to reach 100,000. Most of that growth comes from what he put in, not the market. He's burning almost all his fuel himself. As the balance climbs toward 250,000, the market starts pulling its weight. Getting from 100,000 to 200,000 takes about 5 years, but contributions now account for 60% of growth, and investment returns contribute 40%. It's here that behavior becomes critical. Below this stage, skipping contributions or panicking during market dips can destroy your trajectory. Emotional trading mistakes are costly because your portfolio isn't big enough yet to ride out volatility. The takeaway? Maximize savings early. Capture every employer match. It's free money. Prioritize tax-advantaged accounts. Every extra dollar you can contribute now matters more than the perfect asset allocation. And remember, compounding is on your side, but it's still learning its role. You are the engine. Your contributions, discipline, and consistency set the stage for the next phase, where the math flips. Crossing this milestone is more than numbers. It's psychological. You move from grinding against gravity to reaching a point where momentum starts to work for you. And this is where we'll meet our next character in Stage 2. The person who experiences the first true shift in financial freedom. Now, here's where things start to feel different. You've crossed $250,000. Your contributions are still important, but the market is now doing more work than you. Meet Ethan, 38, lives in Denver, makes $75,000 a year. He's been saving $1,500 a month for the last 10 years. His balance is $250,000. At this point, the math flips. Investment returns are now the headliner. To understand why, let's talk about the rule of 72. This is simple. Take 72 and divide it by your annual return rate to estimate how long it takes for your investment to double. At 7% annual growth, 72 divided by 7 is roughly 10 years. That means Ethan's portfolio can double to $500,000 in a decade without adding another dollar. But he doesn't stop contributing. He keeps investing the same $1,500 a month. This extra fuel pushes him toward $800,000 faster. The market's momentum, combined with his contributions, accelerates growth. This is true escape velocity. Now, the psychological part is critical. Ethan sees his balance fluctuate. A 10% correction means $25,000 on paper is gone. That's a real number, an expensive car or a year of tuition. It triggers fear. The temptation to panic is almost irresistible. Here's the trick. You have to decide in advance how you'll behave during corrections. The moment you hit the drop, your gut will tell you to act. But historical data shows that holding steady almost always wins. Investors who sold during the 2022 market decline locked in losses twice as severe as those who stayed the course. During this stage, focus on 3 things: allocation, expense ratios, and tax strategy. Fees matter. A 1% management fee on $300,000 over 30 years can cost roughly $170,000 in lost growth. That's real retirement income lost to the wrong choices. Behavioral discipline is also key. You must resist the urge to make sudden shifts. The portfolio is now big enough to absorb temporary setbacks, but too small to recover if you chase trends or panic. The milestone is not just about the math, it's psychological. Crossing $250,000 means your balance is large enough to trigger fear, but not yet fully supported by momentum. You need a plan for how to act before the storm hits. Ethan's next checkpoint is $800,000. At that point, fear no longer dictates decisions. Until then, every correction is a test of discipline. Understand this stage. Plan. Contribute. Hold. That's how you ride the market instead of being dragged by it. Now let's talk about the ultimate threshold. $800,000. This is where the math clears and fear stops controlling your decisions. Meet Jordan, 54, project manager in Ohio, earning $90,000 a year. 4 years ago, his retirement accounts hit $800,000. That number was huge. It wasn't just dollars, it was freedom. Here's what happens at this stage. With a 5% withdrawal rate, Jordan could generate $40,000 per year from the portfolio alone. Add Social Security, around $46,000 annually, and he's replacing 90% of his working income at 54. He doesn't need to wait until 65. This is the point most people never reach or recognize. The industry tells you to save 1 million, maybe even more. But historical data shows that 800,000, structured correctly, is already enough for most Americans to retire comfortably. Tax planning now becomes critical. If all money is in a traditional 401k, withdrawals are taxed as ordinary income. At a 12% federal rate, every $100,000 withdrawn costs $12,000 in taxes. Over 20 years, this reduces lifetime income substantially. Roth accounts change the game. With a mix of traditional and Roth savings, you can manage taxable income deliberately. Withdraw from Roth when taxes would be higher, and from traditional accounts when taxes are low. This simple structural choice can save 6 figures over a retirement. Behavioral discipline remains important. The risk is no longer running out of money. It's spending too little because fear lingers, or making an emotionally driven allocation mistake during a temporary downturn. Jordan stayed the course. He didn't panic during corrections. He didn't chase trends. Over the next 10 years, his portfolio continued to grow. He retired at 58, replacing more than 100% of his peak income. The lesson is clear. Above 800,000, escape velocity is achieved. The portfolio's momentum carries the growth. The rocket is in orbit. Your contributions matter less than your decisions, your discipline, and your tax strategy. Remember, this stage assumes a diversified, low-cost, equity-weighted portfolio. Moving everything to cash or paying high fees changes the math. But if you stick to structural principles, your financial freedom is real. Crossing this line is more than numbers. It's psychological liberation. You no longer live in fear of running out. You can finally start designing the life you want. Let's clear up one big misconception: the 4% rule. Most people think it's the maximum safe withdrawal rate. That's not true. The 4% rule comes from research done in the 1990s. The idea was to find a withdrawal rate that would survive the worst possible 30-year retirement scenario in U.S. history. Not the average, not the typical case, the absolute worst. Financial advisors turned that floor into a ceiling. They told clients, if you can't live on 4%, you need more money. That's why people keep working, saving, and paying fees, even when their math already clears. Historical data tells a different story. Across more than 100 rolling 30-year periods, retirees following the 4% rule often ended up with double their starting portfolio at death. Some ended with 3 times as much. None fully depleted their savings. Modern research shows the sustainable withdrawal rate is closer to 5 to 6% under today's market conditions. Let's break it down in plain English. Withdraw 6% of $800,000 and you get $48,000 a year. Combine that with Social Security, roughly $45,000 annually for a married couple, and your household income is about $93,000. Not $1 million, not $1.2 million. $800,000 is enough. The industry has no incentive to explain this clearly. They benefit from fear. If you believe you need more money, you save longer, pay more fees, and stay under advisement. But the math shows you're already in a safe position. The takeaway: don't let outdated rules scare you. Understand the original intent of the 4% rule. Know the historical data. And realize that your portfolio may already support the lifestyle you want. By knowing this, you can make smarter decisions. You can retire earlier, avoid unnecessary stress, and allocate your money more effectively. You can stop buying a cushion you don't need, at the cost of time you can't get back. Now that you understand the stages, here's what you can do. These are practical, simple steps that make a real difference. First, recalibrate your milestones. Forget the old $100,000 rule. Today, the first escape velocity checkpoint is $250,000. Below this, maximize contributions. Every extra dollar counts more than perfect allocation. Capture all employer matches. Use tax-advantaged accounts first. This is pure fuel for your rocket. Second, above $250,000, the focus shifts. Fees, allocation, and tax strategy become critical. 1% management fee on $300,000 compounded over 30 years costs roughly $170,000 in lost growth. Keep costs low. Index funds outperform most active managers over the long run. Third, plan for behavioral discipline. You will see market corrections. Your gut will scream at you to act. Decide in advance how you will behave. Don't chase trends or panic. The portfolio is large enough now that momentum can carry you through temporary drops, but only if you stay the course. Fourth, build your tax architecture now. A mix of traditional 401k, Roth IRA, and possibly taxable brokerage accounts gives you flexibility. Decide which dollars to withdraw each year to manage taxes efficiently. This can save hundreds of thousands over a 20-year retirement. Start early while your income is lower. Don't wait until the balance is too high to convert efficiently. Fifth, understand your withdrawal rate. The 4% rule is a floor, not a ceiling. Current research shows 5 to 6% is sustainable for most retirees. Combine this with Social Security to replace a large portion of your income. Don't let fear drive you to oversave or delay retirement unnecessarily. Finally, stay disciplined and consistent. The system rewards steady contributions and long-term thinking. Lazy investing, low fees, diversified portfolio, consistent contributions, beats chasing trends or crypto memes. Small decisions today compound into real freedom later. No fluff, no gimmicks. Just clear steps that put you in control. You can cross the escape velocity thresholds faster and retire with confidence. If you want the simple plan, comment "plan." So here's the truth. Retirement freedom isn't about hitting a round number. It's about crossing the right thresholds, understanding the math, and planning for behavior. Below 250,000, you are the engine. Between 250,000 and 800,000, momentum starts to work for you. Above 800,000, fear no longer controls your decisions. Take control now. Maximize contributions, minimize fees, plan your taxes, and stay disciplined. Your future self will thank you. Don't wait. Start today, stay consistent, and let your portfolio carry you to real freedom.